It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I hear, I know, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation there is sure to be failure. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. When anger rises, think of the consequences. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Never give a sword to a man who can't dance. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. You think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach the people. The cautious seldom err. Strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the whole. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Heaven means to be one with God. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. If I am walking with two other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. To be wrong is nothing unless you continue to remember it. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. You cannot open a book without learning something. The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. Study the past, if you would divine the future. they must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. If we don't know life, how can we know death? Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. The object of the superior man is truth. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. Ability will never catch up with the demand for it. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. To see what is right and not to do it is one of courage or of principle.